and the omnibus. So I was forced into the Archers when I was a child. And look, it's come back to bite me later on. I'm awash with this stuff.
The Archers is the world's longest-running radio show, with more than 15,000 episodes broadcast. Despite being a rural flavor show, The Archers is recorded in the heart of...
Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're really diving deep into the intricate world of human relationships. Personal battles, too. We're drawing insights from these conversations happening in, the fictional village of Ambridge. And we've got a really compelling set of sources today, snippets that feel incredibly real. They offer this intimate look at navigating some really tough emotional landscapes. So our mission here is to uncover the key takeaways, about how people grapple with guilt, maybe seek forgiveness, how they manage these overwhelming anxieties, and find connection even when things are chaotic. So let's get into it. Let's really understand what's going on here.
Yeah, and what's truly compelling about these narratives, I think, is how these intensely personal struggles actually reveal universal human experiences. We'll explore characters wrestling with the long shadow of past actions, the anxieties of parenthood, which so many people feel, and the enduring power of friendship. It's a powerful reminder, really, of the quiet, often unseen battles people face every single day.
Okay, let's jump right into our first narrative thread then. We hear George, and he's clearly worried about Amber. He reveals this surprising piece of history. Turns out Amber was bullied back in high school by Chelsea. But here's the twist, the really unexpected part. Amber discovers this former bully is now related to her. She's Brad's sister. I mean, that's a setup for some serious emotional complexity, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely is. And this situation, it immediately brings up a really crucial question for anyone dealing with past wrongs, I suppose. How do we even begin to reconcile with the past we might not fully remember, or one that's been deeply buried? Because we learned that Chelsea herself, she didn't recall the bullying until very recently, and now she's genuinely mortified by it. That's the word used. She wants to put it right, even offering to do Amber's hair and makeup for the wedding.
That's fascinating. So you have one person expressing clear remorse for something they barely remember doing, but Amber, on the other hand, she is deeply upset by this revelation. George really emphasizes she's having a really hard time, feeling like she has no one on her side. Her parents, he says, have been horrible to her ever since she told them about us, meaning her relationship with George. So he's really pushing Brad, to have Amber's back in Ambridge.
Right, and this perfectly illustrates the loyalty bind. It's a common dynamic where family ties just pull in opposing directions. You see Brad caught right in the middle. He's trying to mediate these two vastly different emotional truths. You've got Chelsea's retrospective shame versus Amber's current trauma, which is clearly made worse by her existing family issues. I think the core insight here is that true reconciliation, it often hinges not just on remorse from the person who caused harm, but on the capacity for the victim, for Amber in this case, to articulate her enduring pain, and for third parties like Brad to actually validate that pain without minimizing it,
Yeah, that makes sense. And Brad does eventually agree to talk to Amber, but importantly, only if George promises to look out for her. So for us listening to this, what's the takeaway? What's the insight? How do we approach situations where, the person who caused harm is truly remorseful, but the victim is still deeply wounded and maybe feeling isolated?
Well, it suggests that genuine healing often requires more than just, a simple apology. It requires sustained empathy, a recognition that the victim's timeline for forgiveness is their own. They get to decide that. And it also highlights the critical role of allies like George and Brad in helping bridge that gap, in validating the hurt.
Okay, so from navigating those past hurts, let's shift focus a bit. Let's talk about a different kind of deep-seated anxiety, this time within the intensely personal world of parenting. We hear Alice expressing intense worry about her daughter, Martha. She's at an appointment, and she's armed with this whole list of concerns. Things like Martha's inability to focus on tasks, occasional meltdowns, difficulty managing emotions, even possible balance issues like apparently Martha falling over pretending to be a flamingo. You can just feel the weight of her concern, can't you?
You certainly can. And what's so striking is the stark contrast with Chris's perspective. He seems to just dismiss these concerns, calls them normal childhood offenses. He even compares Martha's behavior to challenges faced by other kids they know, like Pip's daughter Rosie. He insists Martha is literally, absolutely, and completely fine. And later, her impressive feat on the monkey bars seems to kind of prove his point, in his eyes at least.
Right. But the real heart of Alice's anxiety gets revealed, and it's truly heartbreaking. It's her deep-seated fear of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD. Because of her past drinking during pregnancy, she admits it. She talks about sleepless nights looking up alcohol damage to unborn baby. That's a heavy burden to carry.
Oh, incredibly heavy. And this narrative, it brings up such a profound question. How does personal guilt, especially from past actions, how does it color our perception of the present, particularly when it comes to our children's well-being? And the professional they see offers very little immediate certainty. She says there's nothing about Martha's development that concerns her at the moment, but it also says she can't completely rule out FASD without waiting until Martha is 6 years old.
And Alice's immediate response to that uncertainty, it's to propose meticulously documenting Martha's every single move for the next 2 years. She's fearing it's not an easy thing to diagnose. But Chris, he vehemently rejects this, calls it treating Martha like a lab rat. He tells Alice directly, stop blaming yourself, and insists Martha is perfect.
Yeah. Stepping back, this is such a powerful portrayal of the immense pressure and fear parents can carry, particularly when there's a perceived past cause for concern, like Alice's drinking. This deeply personal story, I think it reveals a really crucial parental insight, which is the profound relief and maybe the stronger bond that can come from choosing radical acceptance. Accepting a child's present reality, rather than this anxious, often guilt-driven quest for a definitive label from the past. It's a reminder that sometimes, the greatest act of love is just letting go of that need for perfect certainty.
Letting go of certainty. That's powerful. And speaking of emotional upheaval, our final piece of source material brings us back to George. He's grappling with a very different kind of personal setback here. He shares with Brad this crushing news. His ex-girlfriend, Mia, came back. Gave him this flicker of hope, only to tell him on his birthday, no less, that she's seeing someone new, an amazing new uni boy. George says he's gutted, feeling even more embarrassing for thinking he had a chance, and he admits it feels worse than when we split up the first time. Ouch.
Oh yeah, that's just classic hope being extinguished in the most painful way at the worst possible time. It really is. It highlights the complex emotional landscape of navigating personal disappointment and the unexpected, often cruel, timing of bad news. And Brad, despite his own recent challenges, he offers that classic best friend comfort, reassuring George that Mia wasn't the right one, that'll find someone. It's just a testament to the power of having a supportive friend in those really vulnerable moments.
Totally. But what's really inspiring here, I think, is George's resilience and the surprising creative outlet that emerges from his difficult circumstances. We learn he's been writing poetry while he's incarcerated, just to kill the time, he says. But he even finds some of it proper good, funny even. And get this, he's specifically writing a poem for Amber, saving it for their wedding day.
Yeah, that's lovely. It just illuminates how challenging circumstances can sometimes foster unexpected creativity. Deeper personal reflection, too. The vulnerability of him admitting his heartbreak is so beautifully balanced by the joy he finds in this new artistic expression for his fiancée. It's about finding light, isn't it? Even in the dark.
Exactly. And the conversation culminates in this truly heartwarming moment. George asks Brad to be his best man. And Brad is visibly moved. He calls it something as important as this. And immediately accepts, declaring, of course I'll do it, I'd love to. So what does this all mean for us, the listeners? I mean, even amidst profound personal pain, these relational complexities, these profound moments of friendship and commitment can not only emerge, but actually be strengthened.
Absolutely. It speaks volumes about the enduring human need for connection, for belonging. These characters, they're all facing their own battles, right? But they still reach out. They offer support. And they find these moments of profound shared joy. It reminds us that even when life feels messy, incredibly messy sometimes, the threads of relationship can weave into something really resilient, something beautiful.
So, as we pull out of this deep dive, we've really explored quite a bit. The enduring weight of past actions, those intense anxieties that can consume parents, and the remarkable ways people find solace, find new direction, even in the face of heartbreak. It's just a testament, I think, to the messy, beautiful, and often surprising journey of human relationships.
We've seen characters grappling with blame, seeking understanding, extending trust, sometimes finding unexpected comfort. These stories remind us of that constant negotiation, between what was, what is, and what we hope might be.
Right, so we invite you, listening, to consider this. How do we, as individuals, how do we decide when to release that need for perfect certainty? And instead, maybe, embrace the imperfect, unfolding reality of life, especially when it comes to those we love most, What freedom might we actually find in that acceptance? Something to think about.
So, what are you doing now?
Just getting ready for the next episode. Just
And,
moving mics around.
So, what do you do?
I do the spot effects on the arches. Any
Are you what we
movements
call Foley then?
and- kind of. Yep.
Okay. And these are all part of the paraphernalia of production.
Yep. That's the ball bar. That's,
This one.
yep. That's.
Hayley so wanted to be in their own place when their baby came. It's due in 2 months. Not much chance of that now.
No.
I mean, it would have been a stretch for them financially, mind, but I just wish there was something practical I could do to help them go along. I mean,
I think The Archers has had this immense popularity over the years, basically because it has always very accurately reflected the reality of life and living in a rural community at whatever